Hey, Stink Nugget. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, almost a whole month. I've been going live again the past couple days. Just trying to get like back my life kind of into a sense of normalcy and to try to pass the time better while I'm waiting for my surgery, which is happening extremely soon. Extremely soonly. Okay, so I'm not gonna tell you exactly when, but you'll know when it happens, because I'll share either a YouTube video. I think I might go live even, just to like share, and then I'll go back to recovering, because I'm gonna be in a lengthy, like 3-month long recovery. The first month is gonna be the hardest. That's gonna be the most critical point. But it's like going to be like a 3 to 5 to 6 month recovery, maybe even like a 9-month recovery. But about like probably by the second month, I should be like pretty normal. I won't be able to have like my full exercise routine, but until like 3 months, because then I can ride a bike again. I won't be able to ride a bike for 3 months. I won't be able to do some other things that are pretty fun for 3 months, but it's okay because it's worth it. I'm gonna be going through like some really personal growth, and some personal discovery. And I can share some of that online, but most of it is personal. I kind of mostly want to migrate away from sharing my personal life online, because I've done that the past 4 years. It's not really good content. I mean, I guess it might be, but that's not really what I want to set out to do. I want to make entertaining content and art. Not all content is considered art, I guess. Technically it's all art. But that's a different discussion. Content is content. I want to focus on being a content creator in multiple industries, but hyper focused on the ones that are my expertise, and I think I can do pretty well. But I want to steer away from sharing my personal life so much. That's kind of been the whole point of this transition. Like, I've been transitioning and I've been sharing that process. But like the whole purpose of transitioning isn't so I can just perpetually be transitioning. Like, the whole purpose is so I can go somewhere, right? And I'm going places. Okay, I'm definitely going places. Definitely gonna get laid. And I'm gonna get paid. So that's always good. Where are we going? Places we've been before, but in a whole new level. Because I'm gonna start getting a lot more resources available, pursuing a lot more collaborative efforts, pursuing a lot more professional photography, getting connected with people in the industry. That's like a whole new journey in and of itself, and people on the, people will see the end result. I'm not going to share the process. That's going to be a new era of my career. Because I've been sharing the process this whole time, and I'm transitioning to a place where I am comfortable enough with myself and my body, where I can start creating, more like deliverables. Like, that's the whole point, is to be a performer. Right now I'm kind of a documentarist, or whatever you call it. Right now I'm kind of documenting the process. I'm like creating a documentary basically the past 4 years. Or like a journal really. And the journal is, very valuable to me. It might be of value to other people. I mean, you tell me. But mainly the whole purpose of the documenting has been so that I can get through it. So that I can become the best version of myself that I can be, so that I can move forward. So that I can bring myself to where I need to be. And everything I'm doing is in service of where I want to be. It's not just so I can share, oh, look at me, I'm so awesome, like, oh, everybody needs to look at me. It's like, yeah, I know that, like, what I've been doing isn't necessarily good content the past 4 years. I've had, like, sprinkles of good content, but that wasn't the goal. I mean, obviously, it's always the goal, but that wasn't what I was putting my energy into. That was just kind of happenstance. That was like testing the waters, seeing how things work, kind of prodding at the, prodding at the beast, and like seeing what happens, and seeing some things that I liked, some things that I don't like, and so when I move forward, I'm getting this surgery, and then the whole point is so that I can move forward. And anybody who's been paying attention to me the past 4 years, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay? Like, the age of Rebecca Lauren is coming. Hey Perry Gaming. The age of my content reign is coming. Okay, so stay tuned. But I have to go through surgery. I have to turn the eggplant into a peach, but it's not necessarily for other people. That's for myself. It's so that I can be complete, so that I can feel good in my body, so that I can deal with my repressed feelings and in a way that's healthy and profitable. But mostly because it's like I want to be happy and I want to be fulfilled. And on top of that, it'll fund my life. And it'll also fund my chess. Because I in order to play chess, especially if you're going to tournaments and traveling, you need a lot of money. Okay, so I got multiple things going at once in my life. I really don't think that people can really pay attention and put the focus necessary to improve in maybe like 1 or 2 things at a time. And right now I'm just like focusing on my health and getting myself to the surgery. Thanks for the subscription, Stink Nugget. Getting myself to this surgery is my #1 goal. Everything else is secondary to that. So whatever I do during that time, it's kind of just like, extra credit. I do think that like streaming is like, streaming is something that is more of a, the whole point of doing it should be in service to something larger than streaming, in my opinion. I really think that streaming it can be a great experience in and of itself, but I also think that streaming is more of it's like a command center where you bring yourself to kind of like plan, and your community is a part of that because you bring people into your stream and they're in the know. They're a part of it. You can't do it alone. Everyone who's been here these past 4 years has been a part of my development. In some ways more than others, but some people have, just being here and chatting and just like knowing that you're here is a lot. But also, you know, there have been people who are financially well off who've, you know, subscribed, donated. On one of my platforms, I had somebody donate like a total of like, I think over $1,000. So that's why I know I'm going to be successful. And that wasn't the only person who donated. So it's like, you know, I think that's good analytics. I think that's good enough analytics to know that I should pursue that as a career. And plus, I'm very willing, and not more than willing, to do a whole bunch of types of content within that category that most people are not willing to do. I'm 35, Sindrio, and you know, some people in my industry started at 60 plus. And I know it's hard for people to understand, but you need to kind of look from like a big picture standpoint, is that content is not just Twitch or YouTube. It's not just like Minecrafters. It's not just like, you know, React content. There's a whole spectrum of content out there. And there's a target audience for every single type of content creator. Some might be more popular to a wider audience, but you don't need to appeal to everyone. You can appeal to your niche. And in my industry, you know, there's always an audience. No matter how, you know, 18 plus, 18 all the way to 90 plus. You know, 18 to 90 plus is the window. So that's a pretty large window. I'm female. But I'm in the process of turning an eggplant into a peach, and it's about to happen. You know, I've been on estrogen treatment for 4 years. I've had my facial feminization. I had my orchiectomy, so I don't have ball pain anymore because I don't have balls. She, her pronouns. Sindria. You know, it's this thing where it's like people think things, but that doesn't make it true. People think, oh, you can never make it as a model if you're over 25. Or it's like, well, that's like a very specific category of models. There's also people who are successful models who started when they were 60. You know, yeah, we're going to play some games. I'm going to be doing some puzzles. And then, you know, I'm going to be playing some, you know, casual games. I always welcome games from viewers. So my username on chess.com is Rebecca Lauren. But right now, I'd like to do the preamble. You heard no balls without context. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I had my balls removed. You know, we can't play soccer anymore. I need to brush my teeth. I'll be right back. Ugh, I need to get, see, that's the next step. That's the next step, and I need to get my teeth whitened and shit like that. You know, I do my best to take care of my teeth, honestly. Like, mostly coffee that does it. You know, like getting some like whitening strips wouldn't hurt me, you know. Ronak, I started filtering out Restreambot, not because Twitch, because Twitch allows multi-streaming, technically now. Honestly, they didn't really enforce it. I don't think they banned anybody for multi-streaming. But they technically don't allow it. It's not even about that. It's that it's harder to moderate on Twitch with Restreambot. So I turned off Restreambot, but don't worry, no matter what platform you're on, I'm gonna see your chat. I respond to your chat. Sometimes I even screenshot your chat and bring it up on stream. So no matter where you're at, you're gonna be seen. I'm sorry that there's different. If you really want to have the most interactive experience, it's like other platforms can see Twitch chat, but Twitch can't. Like Twitch chat is the most exclusive chat because you I don't know. It's just harder to moderate, and I don't necessarily need to different websites have different moderation policies, and I want to allow every website to have their own freedom, because some websites are less strict about moderation in chat, and because of that, I don't want to have to constantly be thinking about moderating on Twitch, because Twitch has some very specific moderation policies. Honestly, no matter who you are or where you're at, there's certain things that I don't allow in my chat because they're against terms of service everywhere. That's pretty much the only thing that I don't allow in my chat. It's just I feel like I don't want Twitch to be compromised. Other websites are a lot more lenient and less likely to ban me. Twitch is more likely to ban me for failing to moderate. And, maybe not at my level right now, but it's the principle of the thing. Yeah, YouTube, that's more for capturing the VOD without having to upload it. That's really the reason. But you never know, people do come into my YouTube and, people do come into my YouTube and chat, so there's a lot that's going on that people don't necessarily realize is true. What's going on here? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so we're gonna be doing some fork double attack, forks, mate and ones, and pins from 100 to 1400 rating range. For now, and then we're gonna play some casual, blitz and bullet games just to have some fun and chat. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, Twitch is my central streaming platform. No matter what. Everywhere else is just multi-stream, just capturing it. And also, some people prefer to hang out on different streaming platforms. And that's okay. And I want them to be able to, enjoy that platform and have the chat experience there. And, obviously, Twitch is going to be the central streaming platform. So that's always going to be, what everything in my live stream is catered towards is to Twitch. I consider my live stream to be a Twitch stream, even though I'm multi-streaming, if that makes any sense. It might not make sense to some people. You never know. But like, I generally just, I set up my streams so that I don't have to think about it. Because the whole point of live streaming is that I'm basically just capturing where I am at the moment. Yeah, so like, lately, I have been talkative. Like, what am I talking about? The past couple of streams, I feel like I haven't really been talking about anything, but like, then I go through the VOD and I'm, except later last night, I was kind of just focused on just playing games, but I talk a lot. Backseating for puzzles, it's not so bad because I can just do another one if somebody solves it. I don't really, I'm backseating is more for like rated games. Obviously people are gonna backseat. During my games, I try not to pay attention to chat if at all possible. But I do give warnings if people are giving like, moves in chat during rated games. During unrated games, which are like games with viewers, that's why, it's like I generally only accept unrated challenges from viewers. Obviously sometimes people are gonna get through, but like when I'm just playing unrated or even puzzles, like you guys can chat about it. I know that people like chatting about chess positions. That's kind of why you're here. Not all the time. Hopefully you're here for multiple reasons, like not just for chess or not just for me. I mean, I'd prefer you to be here for me, but chess is also a part of me. And I play horror games. I mean, that depends on your definition of what a horror game is. We could play some horror games at some point, but I'm not really playing games right now. That's not really like what I do. I kind of just hang out and I'm more of a just chatting streamer. So I chat about a lot of stuff. Like I said, right now we're in a period of time where I'm pretty much just documenting a lot of my life. Oh, what? I didn't see the Maiden one. Yeah, I like RPGs. I like every single type of game. I'll even play League of Legends. I don't know why people hate it so much. Like, why do they play it if they hate it? It doesn't make any sense. You're always complaining about it. Like, I think it's a great game. It's pretty fun. I just don't play it all the time. Maybe that's why they hate it. Because they play it all the time even when they don't want to play it. That's weird. Why would you do that? Maybe they're getting paid for it. Well, then it's like, it's a job. Like, it's like you kind of get what you pay for, so to speak. No matter what you do, even if it's pleasurable, it's still a job. It's not going to be fun all the time. Just like, doing stuff in my industry. It's not fun all the time. It's pleasurable, but it's not pleasurable all the time. But you do it because it's fulfilling, and you do it because you know that there's a reason why you started it in the first place. You always have to remember that. Like musicians as well. Music, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and a lot of it is really boring, really repetitive. Just like, going into the practice room and like doing like very boring exercises that do not sound musical at all, that are just like, I saw a video earlier It was a short. It was like what people think a violinist does when they practice, and what actually happens. And it's like someone's like like playing like a really straightforward, just doing the scales, and it sounds beautiful. And it says what violinists actually do, and it's like vana, vana, like doing very like slow, like paying attention, trying to like isolate a single concept and perfecting it, because you're either trying to improve something or you're trying to learn something new, and you add it into your overall repertoire. You'd rather play Dota? I don't like Dota at all. Some people are, my friend, he's tried playing League, but he doesn't really like it, and he keeps trying to compare League to Dota. I'm like, stop doing that. League is not Dota. You're going to be disappointed if you compare League to Dota, because it's not Dota, it's League. Just like if you compare Dota to League, like Dota is not League, it's Dota. And the thing is like Dota, I feel like it's way too just. It's just like annoying. Like it's not even like fun to play. Like it's just like it's way too like convoluted. I think League of Legends, it simplifies things to the point where you actually like, all you have to do is focus on the more of the it just because it's simple doesn't make it easy. Simple sometimes just makes it like, more focused. And Dota, it has a lot more complexity. It's more complex. It's like if you want to compare Risk to like Warhammer 40k, right? Like Warhammer 40k is much more complex. The maps are obviously sometimes, like a lot of custom maps, right? There's a lot more rules. There's a lot more, things to think about. You even get out a ruler, a measuring tape. You get a measuring tape out when you're playing Warhammer 40k. In Risk, though, doesn't make it a bad game just because it's simpler. It's just a different game, and it's like, yeah, like it's like you kind of just move armies around. Risk is one of the games that I used to play as a kid. I played with my dad and my brothers and my cousin and their friends. We would play Risk for like hours out, like every weekend. I was never really good at it. I would also play it with my friends. But and then we'd rage quit. You always know a game of Risk, you know that you played it correctly when at some point someone flips the entire board out and rage quits. That's when you know you're playing right. Yeah, the old versions, I actually the original plastic pieces were the best. The original plastic pieces, there were like little triangles, and like I get like the other ones, there was like a asterisk one for like the very basic pieces. The ones that were like more like little soldiers, I always thought that was so annoying, because it's like you have to stand them up, and it's like they would roll around when they fell. So it's like, yeah, I like FPS games, shooting games. Well, because I guess third-person shooters count too. I've played a lot of different games. I'm 35 years old, almost 36. I've been playing video games since I was like 8 years. Like, actually, I've been playing video games since I was like 3 years old. Probably earlier than that. My very first memory was when we got the Sega Genesis. And I was either watching or playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Super Mario Brothers was like and Mega Man 2. We didn't actually have Mega Man. We had Mega Man 2 first, and then Mega Man 3. We rented Mega Man 4 at one point. Oh, what am I? What's going on here? Oh, obviously not there. Oh. Yeah, for some reason I was hallucinating, like you'd go there. Yeah, I mean, it was innovative for the time, and we can't really necessarily say that it was good or bad. It was good for us because it was formative. Hey, Happy Camper. It was formative, you know. You know, like, and when we started playing those games, like, I was a little kid. You know, that was my first experience with video games. And, you know, it's like, yeah, if those kind of games came out today, we've already had that experience. Like, obviously, I actually really do like retro style games. Like old school style games. I actually think they're really great, but it's not the same as it was because we already had those experiences. Kids today, they kind of have like, a lot of stuff has already been explored. Like a lot of stuff has already been figured out. So like the kids today, they've already, like when a game comes out, they get the same experience, but with like, it's like an improved version. It's a different experience, but they still get the same like fundamental, like, you know, the levels of enjoyment. Like they go through the learning experience where they learn what a video game is and like these concepts of like what a platformer feels like, you know, the excitement of a new game coming out. Like these are all universal. You know, nowadays we don't have Electronic Gaming Monthly or Nintendo Power or PlayStation Magazine or Game Pro or any of those magazines. There was a Dreamcast magazine as well. Those were really cool, but now we have like, you know, the internet. Now we have YouTube. So people will watch their favorite YouTuber or their favorite streamer to find out about a new video game now. Which is actually kind of better because now, I mean, it's little, I think we do lose something. Because I think there was like kind of like a feeling of like most people are not going to read this magazine, that like, you know, you felt like you were kind of a part of something exclusive. Whenever you got the magazine in the mail, you're like Electronic Gaming Monthly. You know, when the Game Boy Advance came out, they had a whole issue about the Game Boy Advance where they flushed it in the toilet. And, so, and you know, there was like a whole thing. And I remember like being so excited. I was more excited about Electronic Gaming Monthly than I was about actually playing the games. And it made me more excited about playing the games. But kids today, they don't have that experience because that's not what they grew into. They grew into the evolved version of that, which is like YouTube and stuff. Which some can say, you know, that there's something lost, but I think there's a lot gained. Because it means that a lot of people who would never have access to this material can get free access to YouTube. And also they can find their favorite content creator. And it also gives content creators a lot of freedom because you don't have to be a part of some elite, you know, publishing company. You don't have to have all these barriers to publish your game review. Anybody can make a game review, but then also anybody can make a game review. You know what I mean? Like, the quality is going to be good for some, it's going to be bad for others. In fact, there's going to be a lot more shit than there is high quality videos. But it does mean that the people who make the highest quality stuff, like, you know, the Electronic Gaming Monthlies of today, you know, whatever you're, you know, can make super high octane, high quality, professional edited videos that people are going to enjoy, and they wait every single week for, like, you know, like for the next video, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or once a week, or whatever, you know, whatever their publishing schedule is. You know, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that can go on today. It's different. but game magazines don't really work today. You know, it's just not really a part of our culture anymore. It used to be a part of our culture when we were kids. Like, you know, when consoles were coming out, when there was the console wars, you know, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, when everything was about what bit your console was in, you know, like that time's never going to come again. You know, but it was very special to us because that's how media worked back then in the 80s and 90s. Is people would get magazines, people would read newspapers, like, you know, people still can do that, you know, but it's going to require people to get, you know, there's a lot of barriers nowadays, because for print media, you know, this is a problem of print media. For print media, you need a lot more licensing. And it's weird because I think it's easier because you can get a lot more licensing with video content for YouTube. But for print media, you need like a whole bunch of extra legal actions. It's ridiculous because Retro Death Row, which is a speedrunning, you know, I guess a speedrunning website, like magazine, or, you know, content. It's like a Twitch streamer, I guess. Retro Death Row. Like I have the first two issues of the Retro Death Row magazine. Here, I think I have it here. Yeah, from Comics Wellspring. This is limited edition, by the way. This is very limited. They only printed like a certain amount of these. Let me just get full cam. But, you know, like, this is like collector status now. The NES Pro. This is unopened. This is limited edition. You know, like with the game poster, like it's a huge blast to the past. You know, I don't know why I haven't opened this. I actually wanted to read it. Yeah, it's unopened. But you know, the feeling of like opening up, the feeling of opening up a magazine. Let's see. There's a special way to put it back in. But yeah, this was limited edition. This NES Pro speedrunning. It's made by speedrunners. You know, like, but they couldn't continue it because of licensing issues. You know, like you have to, in print media, you have to face all these like these challenges of licensing. No, I think I have. Yeah, I have the first issue. I have the first issue already opened. NES Pro, you know, it brings back all. I mean, it had all these content creators within the speedrunning community, like creating like this. So it's like they attempted to recreate, you know, the retro feeling of game magazines. You know, but they ran into a whole bunch of licensing issues that would have made it like cost way more than it would have made. It would have cost them a lot of money. You know. Oh, they even have like some guitar tabs. That's kind of like, you know, like there's so much potential for print media. Like There's nothing like it. There's nothing like print media. It's a shame. But the reason why it's not profitable anymore is because of all the licensing issues and the cost of printing. Which, if it was just about printing, it wouldn't be so bad. It's more of the legal issues, which is really unfortunate. And it's like, the game developers have to make money. I understand that. But yeah, I wish journalists would have like a lot more freedom. There should be some changes in, a little comic strip. Like there's all sorts of things. I really, they had a Kickstarter for this, and there was only 2 issues. There was only 2 issues, and I don't think I read all of this one. I want to read this one. I'm afraid to open the second one because it was limited release. I think I actually wasn't supposed to get it. I don't think I was even supposed. Hey, Mux, how you doing? I don't even think I was supposed to get the second issue. They pulled it because of legal issues. So maybe I can't show it on stream. I don't know. But either way, I did like. I was really upset that this wasn't going to continue, because when the NES Pro came out, it was like everything that I experienced in my childhood coming back as an adult, and better, because it's like people who also experienced what I did creating the thing that they grew up with. So it was just really unfortunate that they had to cancel it. People were getting really excited about it. It was going to be a regular thing. It was like there would have been like, issues like every month or 2 or something like that. Oh, well, thank you, Max. But that's kind of where I came from, was Electronic Gaming Monthly, all that kind of stuff. And when you would see that in the mail, I would read it as soon as it came. My brother would read it first because he was the one who bought them. But as soon as I was able, as soon as he was he went to work or whatever, I would open it up and start reading it from cover to cover. I really liked the game reviews. I really liked the what? Oh. Is there a mate in 1 here? Oh. Yeah, Mux, it's been such a long time. I hope you're doing well. There's been a lot of stuff going on in my life the past couple of years. I know you got to take care of yourself. So I'm glad. I hope that you've been taking care of yourself, and all that. But there's been a lot of development in my life. I'm about to have my bottom surgery. I don't know about Grandmastery, but I am getting better. I'm doing puzzles every day now. I took a huge break from 2021 until basically now. I've been taking a break from chess, but I got back into it. I got back into chess, and basically what I do is I just do really easy chess puzzles every day, and just have that repetition. Yeah, I almost opened it. I almost opened the issue. Did you see me? You didn't see it, but I don't know if I should open it. It's one of those things, it's like Pandora's box. If I open this, there's no going back. This is a collector item. I could read the online version. I think. If there is an online version, jeez. It's a huge dilemma. like to open it or not, like to unwrap, you know, it's in its original packaging. Breakdown, got burned out, recovered, got fired, started a music career, and fell in love with a trans woman. Well, you know, it happens sometimes. You know? I'm happy for you. Yeah, I know people will talk about print media. Obviously, it's so much cheaper to publish on the internet. That's not, you know, like obviously, you know, it's just like I was saying, you know, just because something's easier, you know, it's like the concept I was talking about with like Risk compared to Warhammer 40K. Like Warhammer 40K is more complex and it's a good game from what I know. From what people tell me, you know, there's obviously a huge cult following to Warhammer 40K. It's because they enjoy it. But that doesn't make Risk a bad game just because it's simpler. And in that same vein, just because it's more complicated to release a print magazine doesn't make it worse. In fact, it kind of focuses like more on like quality. But the issues that NES Pro ran into were licensing issues. It would have cost them way too much to print it, and the Kickstarter just wasn't doing it. It would have cost way more than it was worth. And that's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate because I was looking forward to that so much. I supported the Kickstarter right when they started, and I got my 2 issues. But then they pulled they pulled the project, and it's just really unfortunate. It was made by like Retro Death Row. Noise Police was a part of it. You know, in the speedrunning community, it was made by speedrunners for speedrunners. You know, they talked about like the latest, speedrunning, tips. They had like editorial, like kind of like nostalgia pieces, artwork, music scores. It was very good. I really wish that there could be more. But honestly, I grew up with like Electronic Gaming Monthly and PlayStation Magazine. I didn't really have Nintendo Power, but Game Pro either. But Electronic Gaming Monthly, I already had that experience as a kid of like finding it in the mail and reading it as soon as you got it and getting excited about new games coming out. That's already over. I've grown up and I don't really feel that way about video games anymore, but it's gonna stay with me forever. That experience of being excited about a new game coming out. Like, at some point you kind of have to like let it go. I know that like it's hard to. It's really hard to. But sometimes at some point you have to let things go. Because you're not going to experience it the same way again. It's going to be something new. And that's the thing about nostalgia. What is going on here? That was a sloppy solve. That's because if you go up here, I have checkmate. Oh no, I don't. Oh no, I do. Oh, it's getting hot. I had the heater on earlier, now I need to switch to the fan. That should make things more comfortable. Okay, where were we? We were just solving some chess puzzles, you know, just relaxing, having some cozy convos, kind of the usual. You know, I've been kind of like absent from my streams the past month or so. I have not really been focusing on streaming. I've just been focusing on my health because I had my facial surgery back in March. That was a really big deal. It really took a lot out of me though, and I'm gonna have my bottom surgery, which is like the big deal. And I, you know, the facial surgery was a huge deal as well. But you know, they're both important. You know, there was no either or. It was both. They were both very important for my mental health, for feeling like life is worth living. I would, you know, the bottom surgery is coming up, and I'm gonna finally be through all this, and then I have the next stage of my life to go through, which is gonna be very exciting. You know, this isn't the end. This is only the beginning. I'm threatening checkmate. Oh, not checkmate. There's no like checks or anything. What? Oh. I gotta be more careful. I gotta look at all the options, you know, like, because there's replies, right? So it's like I have to look at the replies. I can't just make a move just because it looks good. That's kind of what the whole point of doing these puzzles is in the first place, is to make sure that I go through the process, that I'm not just making moves, just only like one move deep. You know, I need to be looking at the full cycle. If I take here, pawn takes, check, and then I get the rook. So let's just double check that. If I take here, there's two options. You take here, then I just take the rook right away. If you take here, then I check, and I also win the rook. Yeah, that's pretty much where things are. I'm feeling better and better about myself every single day. I've continually gone to therapy every single week for the past 4 years. And obviously at some point it's like we kind of even had a session about it where it's like, she's like, wait a minute, like, Rebecca, do you like try to find a problem just so that we can work on something every week? And it was like, I kind of knew that subconsciously. I was like trying to avoid that, but like thinking about it like that, I was like, huh, like, am I just inventing problems so that I can justify going to therapy? It's like sometimes there's not going to be a problem, and that's okay. That's not what therapy is about. It's not about having a problem and trying to like overcome it. You know, there's a long-term reason why I'm going to therapy. Oh, thank you, Mux. I feel a lot better. I feel like more and more normal. I feel like more and more complete, and the bottom surgery is the final step of that. And then there's, of course, like, that's not the end of the story either. I have personal fulfillment to get through. You know, I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of made a huge discovery about my career options around the end of 2021. And I dabbled in it, and I got some really good analytics. I made a few $1,000s on my website just for dabbling in it. Like a few weekends out of the past couple of years, I made several $1,000s. Yeah, gender dysphoria reared its ugly head yet again, just like in every other area of my life. And being worshipped for a part of your body that you're desperately trying to change does some really fucked up shit to your head. And so I had to stop. You know, doing some modeling. And I do plan on doing some professional work. You know, I think I can be a porn star. But I'm gonna have to go through my surgery because I can't do that now. Like, yet again, it's like I did all the winking and then I just said it. I said the quiet part out loud. That basically sums up me. It's like I do all the fun, like, kind of like innuendos and stuff like that, but then I just say the quiet part out loud anyway. It's because I'm not ashamed. I was just doing it for fun. Because people expect you to do that, right? People expect you to do the whole winking thing, and it's fun. I'm a performer, you see? Like, I understand these things. It's just, it kind of, you know, I'm not like the best at it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it comes naturally to me. There's a difference. Like, you can be a natural at something, it doesn't mean you're like a professional quality. I have a lot to learn about the industry, but I think I have a lot of potential. I mean, even just showing up a few weekends with my scuffed lighting and angle situation with my like dirty ass room, even just doing that, I was like, I had like 50 followers on OnlyFans, like on my first within my first 2 months of it. And my cam site now has like 11,000 followers. A lot of those people aren't going to come back. You know, that's kind of the nature of it. But, you know, it's like I'm going to make new viewers. There's also, they're not going to come back either because they're just not going to come back, or because they wanted me to have a specific body part. You know, they wanted to see a woman with a penis, and I'm not going to have that anymore. And so that's, you know, it's not going to appeal to them anymore. So, you know, and that's fine. I'm going to make new viewers though. And I do want to like get some professional modeling shots and audition for, you know, a reputable agency that can help me and establish a presence in the industry and potentially have the best life I could ever possibly imagine and fulfill my sexual needs. Okay, like people don't really always think about that. They always think about the money part of it. But you know, you don't think that there's a reason why people get into the industry. You know, it's because they have a certain needs that are unmet by conventional means. So you know, performative work is always going to fulfill a need that you can't get with you know, personal sexuality. There's a huge part of that, and it's not even just about money. Like, people always talk about money. It's like, you're not going to be, I mean, maybe you might be like a millionaire, you know, in the porn industry, but that's, you know, that's not why people get into it. They get into it because, I mean, maybe some people get into it because they think it's the only option for money. And it might help them out a lot. But if you're not like, I think this is true about any industry. If you're in the music industry, if you're an actor, if you're, you know, a model, if you're a writer, if you don't love it enough to get personal fulfillment, even if you don't financially succeed, then you shouldn't do it. I don't think, unless you're so good at it that you're gonna financially succeed at it, and that's just gonna help you. You know, that's a difference. I am on Twice Slicer. Yeah, sex work is work. It needs to be less stigmatized. I know that's like kind of a cliche that people say, oh, some like, you know, social justice warrior, you know, saying like, stop stigmatizing. And it's like, it's true though. Like, why? Think about it. I mean, like, think about how many people are basically kind of resigned to feel like they have to hide themselves and who they are. Just because some people feel like sexuality should be something to be ashamed of. It's not like I'm acting inappropriately around people unconsensually. It's like I'm not, you know, it's like, you know that there are porn stars who have children, right? You know, it's like you think, you know, they're not inappropriate in the wrong context. Like they're humans. They're responsible adults. What they do in the bedroom is only the people who are also in the bedroom's business. It's not anybody's business what they do in the privacy of their bedroom. Just because you have a bunch of lighting and cameras and a whole, like, you know, production team, it's still the bedroom. You know, it's like it's nobody's business. If you don't want it, then don't watch it. You know, I don't, you know, I talk about it here on stream, but like, you know, my stream is not about that. My stream is about, like, you know, me working through my life and sharing it with you, and that's a huge part of my life. And I don't think I'm being inappropriate. There's people who are being way more suggestive than me. And if it were the case that it was, you know, it's like people have sex workers on their stream. People have OnlyFans girls on their streams. And you know what? It shouldn't be seen as some kind of like taboo thing. Like, oh yeah, this streamer had a sex worker on their stream. Like it's some kind of big deal. It's not a big deal. It's like this person, that's what they do for a living, and they find personal fulfillment in that. It's not like they're bringing it to this Twitch stream. Like, you know, you could be a chess player, and if you're talking about chess, what does it matter what you do for a living? You know, it's not like you're doing porn on your Twitch stream. You would get banned. You know, it's not, I mean, and you know, to an extent, like you can kind of like share your social media, but you know, the social media, it's not the content creator's job to make sure that, you know, people who shouldn't be seeing it don't see it. That's the parent's job. Okay, you know, it's just like Ninja said, you know, Tyler Blevins. Ninja said, because people were having criticism about him for not trying to like end racism. It's like, it's not his job to make sure that people's kids aren't racist. Like, his job is literally just to like make fun content with like Fortnite and like, you know, whatever people that are viewers do. It's not his job to like educate them about racism. Like, he's not like he's not like a you know, like, what do they call it? Like a ethnic studies professor. You know, he's not there to talk about social justice over the course of the past 200 years. He's not running a college course on critical race theory. You know, like he's playing Fortnite. Okay, it's not his job to raise your kids. That's your job as the parent. That's, you know, hopefully that's why you became a parent, was because you took on that responsibility. And if you think it's inappropriate for an OnlyFans girl to be on like a chess stream, that's on you, because you have all these preconceived notions over what OnlyFans, people who do OnlyFans and stuff like that, or even, you know, hardcore porn, you have all these preconceived notions over what that person is. You think that I would trust that person with children more than like half of the people I see on Twitch. Because these people are very aware of the impact they have on the world. They're very mature people. They have to follow legal protocols. They're very safe. Like, these people are, you know, it's like, just because you do sex work doesn't make you some kind of like criminal. And it's like, people need to stop criminalizing sex work. Like it's something to be ashamed of, or that something that you should be seen as some kind of like pervert, that you can't be around children like that. You know, I would trust like a porn star around children more than the person who's like telling the porn star that they're wrong. Like I would trust that. I wouldn't trust children around that person, around the person who's like being weird about it. Yeah, like people collecting dead or mistreating homeless people. It's like, you know, like, I really do think sex work should be, you know, actual, like, you know, escort work, should be, like, completely decriminalized and protected. Like, you know, so that people aren't exploited. Because sex trafficking is a real issue. And the thing is, we found this out with the war on drugs. Is that like by criminalizing it, you're not solving the problem. In a lot of ways, you're making it worse. Because now there's an it doesn't change anything. People are still going to traffic drugs. And in the same vein, by criminalizing sex work, you know, even calling it words like prostitution, it implies some kind of negative value. Even though in and of itself it's just a word. But when you say the word prostitution, it sounds like some kind of bad thing. But that doesn't, because people are like, oh, we don't want to, you know, promote, you know, the bad people who do sex trafficking. It's like, you know, it's like, well, criminalizing people who are consenting to working doesn't end sex trafficking. And it actually makes it worse, because now people are like, there's this huge hush-hush about it, and people are like, have this misguided idea that somehow it's like being dealt with, because they think that it's being dealt with, because like, oh yeah, look, we arrested that prostitute who's, you know, that sex worker who's just trying to make ends meet. We're gonna put that person in jail, but we're, you know, meanwhile there's all these people behind the scenes. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm trying to steer I'm trying not to talk about like heavy issues as much on stream. It's really not something that I want to be about. It leaves a lot of it leaves a lot of bad taste in my mouth. I'm not really here to like, I can't really solve a whole bunch of social justice issues. I don't want to feel bad all the time. I kind of just want to live my life and have a good time, play some chess, you know, make some fun videos and share it with the world. That's really what I want to do. And yeah, I am a writer, and I do write about these things, but I write about them because they're difficult. It doesn't mean I enjoy it. And I have a lot to say, and I think I do owe the world. No, I don't owe the world anything, but I do feel like I should share my ability to process things in the way that I do, in the form of writing and talking and public speaking. Yeah, like sometimes I can talk about stuff like I just did, but that doesn't mean that has to be like 100% of my content. You know, in the same vein, like my OnlyFans doesn't have to be 100% of my content. I don't have to only be an OnlyFans girl or a Pornhub girl. I don't have to only be a social justice writer. I don't have to only be a novelist. I don't have to only be a musician. Like, yeah, I'm gonna focus on some more than others because I shift my focus, and you really have to kind of make some hard decisions over which one you really want to push, and which one is gonna allow me to have the most freedom in my life is gonna be the one that gives me the most financial freedom and the most personal enjoyment, which is doing porn. Like, I really want to pursue it. I want to find out if it's actually for me. Like, I have a really good idea just doing my own stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's for me. But, you know, that can always change. It might change in like 5 years. And that's fine. At least I'll build up some money, and I'll have a portfolio, and I'll have name recognition. Some people will probably think that it's bad. But, you know, what's the alternative? The alternative is that I would have nothing. I would be poor and destitute. I would have no clout. I would have no social standing. Why would anyone want that? And so sometimes people like have to get over these preconceived notions over like what actually is something that is going to hurt you and what is something that's going to help you. And I think it's going to help me a lot. And it's going to provide a lot of personal fulfillment. Yeah, you know, we can monetize. You can you can kind of like take the parts that are like a huge part of who you are and also monetize it. And also monetize it in ways that you don't particularly like think are like representative of your artistic expression. But what that does is it pleases an audience that really wants that kind of content. Like, you know, if you're a musician and you want to make something that's more popular, but it's not necessarily what you want to achieve as an artist, well, it's going to give you the financial freedom to then put your all into your artistic endeavors. And maybe that's more for you and for the art form. And, you know, maybe it's going to be really popular over some people, but it's never going to be as popular as like the super, you know, mass media consumption kind of thing. And I think people need to get over this idea that they should avoid being like, you know, appealing to the algorithm just because they think that, oh, the algorithm, that's not art. And it's like, well, somebody thinks it's art, and it's somebody's introduction to your art, which means that your most self-expressed form of your art is more likely to be seen because you have a doorway that you opened for all the people who would otherwise never discover you. So you're not losing anything, you're gaining. And also, you create something in and of itself when you create more commercial work. There's people who are only going to appreciate your commercial work, and that should be fine. At least they're appreciating your work. You know, they could just not even know you exist. And then you would be poor and homeless. And like, then nobody's going to hear your music. And then your music's going to suffer. Your art, whatever it is, music, whatever. Your art's going to suffer because you don't have the financial freedom to take care of yourself, to be in a position to create the best version of your art that you possibly can. And I wish more people would think that way, because so many people stop themselves from succeeding because they only want to, I don't want to sacrifice my values and appeal to the masses just because I need to make money. And it's like, well, you need money to make the true art form, because if it doesn't make any money, how are you going to fund it? How are you going to have the life where you're going to be able to make your art and put the energy and the focus that you can? Because if you're like a multimillionaire, you don't have to worry about anything. It frees you up to completely explore everything that you want to artistically create. So it's like this mindset of like, oh, I don't want to just appeal to the masses. It's a really like self-defeating attitude. So many artists will have, because they want to be an authentic artist. And it's like, well, you're not authentic at all if you're poor and homeless. You know, what is that? Like, what are you accomplishing then? Then nobody hears your work. Nobody knows you exist. You know? And also, you can find a way to make commercial work that is more true to your voice, to your artistic values. Whereas somebody else will do something that maybe isn't true to you, even in the context of creating something that's more commercially viable. You're the one making it, not somebody else. And so you have that kind of creative power where you can create something that's not only commercially viable, but also something that is true to your own creation. Yeah, you can make real art and make commercial. You can have commercial work that is also real art. And real art is subjective. Like, what is real art? I mean, unless you're talking about Israel art. Just a preemptive, I don't know enough about the Israel-Palestine conflict, and I don't want to talk about it on stream. I'm not a political streamer. I'm not, you know, I'm not a political content creator. I do talk about stuff sometimes, but more of in the context of like I'm a writer and I do have social commentary on some things. But I generally only speak about things that I'm informed about. Yeah, let's not go there. I'm glad that you feel the same way, Mux, because I do not want to go there. I do not want to talk about it. If you want to listen to stuff about that, go to Hassan or Destiny or Vosh or some other political commentator like that does geopolitics, news coverage. I'm not that content creator. Yeah, but you know, you're not required to either. Just because you're knowledgeable about something doesn't give you some kind of like responsibility. Because you know, your happiness and your fulfillment come first and foremost. And so many people, like, yeah, if you're willing to sacrifice your mental health in order to be, you know, put out into the world something that you're talented at or very knowledgeable about because you want to make the world a better place, well, that's something else because, you know, you're the one who made that decision. That's like your decision to put that out in the world. But that doesn't mean that you're required to. You know, some people say, oh, you know, why do these people waste their lives becoming like a chess grandmaster? Like Magnus Carlsen could have put his ability to becoming a doctor or something like that. It's like, really? It's like, no, like he pursued chess because that's who he is. Because that's what he gravitated towards. And being a super strong chess player is still valuable to the world because you're helping improve the chess world, which is valuable. Some people think that like in order to be valuable you have to like save lives. And it's like, well, maybe they are saving lives. What about the kid who thinks that they can't do anything at all with their life and then they see a chess player and they're interested in chess now? And suddenly they have something that's like they're talented at. And then maybe they make new friends with it. They feel more confident. They join a chess club. They make new friends. Maybe they win some tournaments. And then, you know, now they're starting to like, you know, sometimes people actually start to like have like a career of their own. You know, but that wouldn't happen if this person didn't inspire that person through their own career. And then now suddenly you're the person who's inspiring others. You're the person who like helped save somebody's life. There's people out there that maybe they were in a place of deep depression and then they saw your success. Like, you know, like maybe you like, you know, you made like a YouTube video or you're on TV or like in a movie or something or whatever. Someone sees it and it like helps them like, you know what? Like maybe I'm not useless. Maybe I can do something about my life. And you know that there's so many intangible ways that you can help other people. And you can't quantify it. And when you start to quantify it, I think that's when you start to lose. And yeah, obviously a surgeon or a doctor of any kind is very directly saving lives. It's not saying I'm not saying that like doctors that you know obviously we need doctors, but not everybody is a doctor. Just because someone says, oh, like, you want to be a writer? Oh, why don't you? And I think Brandon Sanderson, like, his mom, like, for the longest time was like, oh, you know, you can be a doctor who writes on the weekends. Some doctors play golf on the weekends. You can be a writer on the weekends, because she thought that, like, you know, that you could just be a doctor, you know, when you're not. Like, he's a writer. He writes novels. In fact, he's known for his speed of just publishing novel after novel after novel. He wrote like 6 novels before he got published. And then Stormlight Archives was actually one of his earlier projects. And now Stormlight Archives is like what he's known for. And I have the first one ready to go. I finished Wheel of Time. And I'm going back in time. I'm revisiting Tolkien. So now I'm reading Lord of the Rings again. And then I'm gonna check out from the library. I'm gonna read all the 12 histories of Tolkien, of all the 12 histories of Middle Earth or Arda and all that. I mean, I'm gonna read as much as I can stomach. And then I'm gonna start reading the Stormlight Archives. But I want to read Warbreaker first, because I started Warbreaker, but not Warbreaker. The one, yeah, isn't that what it was? Yeah, Warbreaker. I want to read that first. It's a standalone novel. Somebody said that it has like some kind of loose connection to the Stormlight Archives, but you know, all of the Cosmere books, like Mistborn and all that, are connected somehow. Yeah, I mean, it's really good seeing you again, Mux. I really miss you. I miss, you know, obviously everybody's their own person. I'm not responsible for, you know, whatever my viewers do. You have your own life to live, and I'm glad that you're doing okay. And I'm glad that I know that, like, I was really kind of fucked up for the longest time. It's taken a lot of effort. These past 4 years, kind of the reason I started streaming was because I needed to work through a lot of stuff. I don't think I would be where I am today with as much confidence and hope for my future if I didn't go through all the steps that I've gone through these past 4 years. Like, I'll never know, you know, it's all connected. Like, everything I've experienced made me into who I am today. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable in my body, especially after the surgery is going to happen. I keep dreaming about it now. I'm actually having dreams of you know, like, I can't wait. You know, it's going to be a really difficult, long, you know, it's going to be like 3 months before I can, like, feel safe again after surgery. You know, like, that's like when I can ride a bike again and I can get back into some kind of sense of normalcy. And when I'll be able to, you know, do things, you know, it's going to be 3 months, because you know, there's a recovery process. And it's going to be very difficult for a while because I have to learn a whole bunch of maintenance things that are new. I have to make sure I stay clean and fresh. I do not want to be unfresh. Especially during recovery, where it could actually be, like, threatening. Like, very threatening to my recovery. And you know, this is a lot of stuff that but it's going to be second nature. It's just going to be a normal thing, you know, or I'm going to have to make sure to take care of hygiene in that area. And it's going to be normal. And it's not even going to be a big deal. And like dilating is something that I can't skimp out on, because first of all, if any woman starts, if any woman or person with a vagina stops using it for a long enough time, it'll eventually close up. But for natal vaginas, it's a lot longer. For neo-vaginas, it's a lot faster. And that means I have to dilate for the rest of my life. Apparently, after about 9 months, I only have to, like, dilate, like, once a week. It's not going to be a problem. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be an issue. But it is something that I have to think about. Just like if I lose access to insulin, that's something I have to also worry about, because as a diabetic who's dependent on insulin, if I'm in a situation where I have no insulin, my life is in a lot of danger. Similarly, I have to take estrogen for the rest of my life. So if I lose estrogen, my body will start to, you know, kind of fall apart over time. But luckily, we don't live in this dystopian society, and I'll have access to all this stuff. But it is something that, obviously, just like anybody in life, there's things that you have to think about, because there's things that can hurt you in your life. But you can't live your whole life focused on the things that are going to hurt you. You have to, at some point, just kind of, at some point, you kind of just have to live your life. and just be happy. Because most likely things are going to work out just fine and you're not going to be in danger. And yeah, there's always risk, but you can only just, you can't really control that 100%. You can just control, like, you know, you can do your best to stay safe. And it's not a guarantee, but it's the only thing you can do. It's I don't think it's worth, you know, my therapist says, you know, don't borrow trouble. It's because it doesn't help you. It only hurts you. When you're just thinking about all the things that can hurt you, all the things that can go wrong. Like, oh, what if something like what if I'm on the bus and like and it goes and it crashes, you know? It's like obviously that's a possibility, but you know, most likely it's not going to happen. Like, it could always happen, but that doesn't mean you should worry. If you worry about it all the time, like you're only going to be like just upset and like just frightened all the time. What? Oh. For some reason I was looking too much at the checks. Checks captures threats. Checks captures threats. Yeah, you know, obviously I am a lot more, you know, there is a compromise that you have to give whenever you start a stream, is that you're going to be less focused, you know, while you're talking about stuff. But I think it's worth it. Because you end up talking about interesting things, and you know, I'm a writer, and so this gives me material to write about later. He kind of works through some things that I could always later bring into like some kind of article, but I have to actually sit down and write the article. But I'm focusing on, at this point I have like a very specific kind of plan for my writing. There's stages you have to go through in order to sustain a writing habit. Because it's not necessarily, I mean, obviously I could really, hey Ryujin, obviously I could force myself to just write like finished products. I don't have to have like this perfect routine. But if I want a sustainable writing habit, I have to establish a routine of just writing down my thoughts and journaling every day. And honestly, even right now, I've been like speaking, I've been basically just writing out loud. I've been dictating. So that is a form of expression. It's not the same as sitting down to write. And then sitting down to write something that you're going to publish is actually something that takes a lot more effort. And I've been neglecting that severely, which is unfortunate. Yeah, there's this issue where if you just get out of check this way, you check here, and then the only way to get out of check is to move the rook here, and then because of the rook, you just win the rook straight up. And then now there's a reveal check where now you win a queen. But if you just give away the rook here, you're still pinning the rook and all that, like, and then you have like some escape squares. But then it's going to be really bad. And obviously if you go back here, you have the same problem yet again. And now you're gonna win a bishop. Oh, maybe not necessarily. Guess it might be better just to threaten mate. No. From here we're I mean, this makes sense because you get a bishop. What's the line? Bishop e4 check? Yeah, I don't know. It's not a big deal. Let me do like one more puzzle and then we're gonna get to some games. Because I've been doing puzzles for a while. You get kind of like tunnel vision after a while. We've done 34 puzzles. You know, I used to do like 100. You know, let's get to 100. Let's get to 100. I've been talking my ass off, that's why. What? Oh. What? Oh! Oh, for some reason I thought this was Wind Waker. No, that's Skies of Arcadia. It's not, that's not... That's not that at all. I'm doing pretty good, Ryujin. I'm just I'm just kind of doing my puzzles, and then we're gonna play some casual games. I usually only play rapid off stream, unless it's unrated. So you can challenge me to like 10-minute games, only if it's unrated. Also, if you challenge me to any game, make it unrated. But generally, I only play like 3-2 or 5-0 or 1-0 or 1, like anything bullet or blitz, whatever time control. I prefer increment. So 3-2 is a really good blitz time control in my opinion. It's like fast enough that it's kind of exciting, but it's with the increment, it gives you like a little bit less franticness. It's not necessarily like the most ideal for your chess, but it's very social and it's good for stream because it's kind of like an easy, like low effort content to like have in the background while we're chatting. And also I just think that like longer form games are, I mean, if it's unrated and you want to challenge me to a 10-minute or a 15-minute game, 15-10 is actually my favorite, but I've been playing a lot more 10-minute lately. So if you want to challenge me a 10-minute, just make sure no matter what you challenge me to, it's unrated. I don't want to be accused of cheating, and I hate cheating. I despise it. I'm streaming on chess.com now because I'm using the premium features, and it's really helping me with my chess, giving me a lot more motivation, because when you're paying for something, you're more likely to use it. And that's just a fact. It's just like a basic psychological fact. And and chess.com really knows how to take advantage of that. There's a reason why they're the #1 chess website. Like, they're really profitable, and they're like that for a reason. So, they have a lot of like little teeny tiny things that you might not necessarily think about. Like just the fact that every single time you play a game, a big button that says game review pops up. And you might think that, like, yeah, that's just lazy, but sometimes lazy is actually, like, the most effective. And oops, I forgot to, when you're lazy, you're making things automatic. And that's kind of why you do low-rated puzzles. And I could do those on another website, too. But, I could do those on chess.com and also, like, have the, I like the interface. It's a little bit more, juicy. The sound effects are like, really nice and satisfying. I actually really like chess.com. There's some things I really don't like about it, but as a streamer, you kind of have to commit to one website. I'd rather commit to chess.com because they have a lot of potential streamer opportunities potentially. And then there's big events. They have big sponsored events. There's the Chess Punks Champs that I unfortunately didn't qualify for this year, and I didn't get the coaching and the year of free membership and all that. But I participated in the qualifier, and they're going to do that again next year. And it's on chess.com. They have the money to like sponsor these type of events. You're drinking wine? Well, you don't have to challenge me. You can just enjoy the vibes. I'm glad that you found me and that you enjoy the vibes here. I'm pretty much just chilling and chatting. I really like chatting with me. They don't accept you on chess.com. No, and only if they're not going to partner with you if you're drinking alcohol. But I don't know. The Bota sisters, they've done like they've done some drinking streams in the past, like with Chess Bro. They would do like drinking, they would do like, adoption streams where they would like drink. Like, I think people need to like kind of relax a little bit over what, there's a lot of stuff that chess streamers, and these are chess TV streamers. These are like partnered streamers. If you're not partnered, it's even more lenient. But that doesn't mean you can be like, just like smoking and like drinking nonstop as a streamer. I mean, first of all, that's generally just bad to do. No matter what. I mean, obviously, if that's your style, whatever. But that's generally like not a very good thing to do as a broadcaster. It's really just kind of tacky. And it's just kind of ugly. There's like there's certain things you just don't want to do on stream. I mean, obviously, as a broadcaster, depending on whether it's a sponsored broadcast or not, that's a big deal. Like if it's just a chill like alt stream and you're just like eating your lunch on stream. Like generally like eating on stream, drinking on stream, smoking on stream. I hate smoking, but like weed is one thing. But generally, I don't like doing these things on stream. And plus, that's only if you're streaming, and that's only if you're sponsored. Sponsors will have like a very specific set of rules to follow during a sponsored stream. And yeah, if you have a pattern of like really like kind of more like kind of 18 plus content, that's a little bit different. But I'm not really like an 18 plus streamer. I'm more of a PG-13 streamer. And I don't think I've really like talked about anything that like the Botez sisters haven't. I generally use like partnered streamers as a guide. Like if I'm not doing anything like worse than them, then I should be fine. Yeah, I mean, that's generally good. Obviously, I don't think anyone should smoke cigarettes, but obviously everybody has the freedom to do, what they will. If they enjoy it, like, I'm not going to stop them, but I'm not going to want to be around you if you're smoking. I have health issues, and it's like, I just generally like secondhand smoke is just like really bad. And I just, I don't really want that in my life. But, I'm not going to stop people from smoking. You know what I hate is like when somebody smokes a cigarette and then as soon as they're done, they go inside. And then they're coughing, like, especially if it's like during like a music performance or something. If you go to a classical performance, like you're trying to listen to the music and there's always you can always tell who the smokers are. Like they're just hacking up a frickin' storm every single performance. It's like, and it's like they smoke like right before they go in. Not only that, but like it's on their clothes. It's really gross. You have asthma, then you definitely shouldn't be smoking. Wow. But I'm not your mom, You do you. I can't be taking care of other people, I gotta take care of myself, and for myself, I can't stand tobacco or nicotine. Now marijuana I have a little bit more leniency with, but even that I don't like smoking. I have like a vape, but even that I think I have not partaken in marijuana, and I'm here in California. I literally live like right down the street from a freaking dispensary, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use it all the time. In fact, right now I'm getting ready for surgery. Now is like the worst possible time to be vaping weed or taking edibles. It would jeopardize my surgery, which I've been waiting my whole entire adult life for. My vaginoplasty that I've put all these years of effort just to get. I'm not going to just smoke weed and jeopardize that. Okay, I'm stronger than that. It's more important to me. It's a vaginoplasty. It's a very good surgery. It is like, obviously it has risks, but I'm going into it healthy. It's not like cancer or anything like that. Like it's a very positive, very likely to succeed surgery. Like I don't think people understand how safe this surgery is. Obviously no surgery is 100% safe. But compared to like what other surgeries people get, it's pretty safe, especially if you're going into it really healthy, which I am. I exercise. At the very least, I do like yoga every day. But I like riding my bike. I eat as healthy as I possibly can to take care of my diabetes. My diabetes is right where it needs to be. Everything's actually like perfectly fine right now. I'm gonna like. This surgery is going to go so well. I think I'm going to be very pleasantly surprised over the results. I think I'm going to be happier than I ever possibly could have imagined. Obviously, there's always a risk that something could go wrong, but I'm not going to live my life in fear. I'm not going to deny myself being truly happy, like truly happy, just because I'm worried that something might go wrong. Like, that's not how I live my life. I don't think anyone, I mean, obviously there's some things that are just like actually dangerous. Like, you know, skydiving. That's really dangerous. But if you really want to experience it and you're willing to take the risk, then it could be a very fulfilling life event. You might want to never do it again, but you know, it's not something I want to do. I put so much effort into living. I don't want to go risking my life. You know, I put so many years of my life towards this surgery. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be what it is. I think it's gonna be a surprise. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be too much of a surprise because I do have some information over what it might feel like. And if it's anything like that, I'm going to be very, very, very happy about it. Which, you know, it is, from what I hear, it's very close to what I'm imagining. And it's going to be better because it's going to be real and I'm going to have full access. You know, I'm going to be very happy. And it's going to open my life up a lot. I might even be able to to go dating. Because I won't have all this stuff hanging over my head all the time and being depressed all the time. And I might actually be able to, you know, have partners. You know, men or women. You know, cis or trans. Like I'm into everybody, so I don't have a requirement. Oh, you can't go there because of the queen. So, oh. Yeah, I have the rest of my life ahead of me, you know. By the time this is all going to be through and I'm all recovered, I'm going to be 36. Which some people think is like the end of the world, but that's the beginning of your life. If I was a hobbit, I would have only come into adulthood 3 years ago. Or, you know, like doing 2 years ago. Like basically 3 years ago. Because if I was a hobbit, I would have come of age at 33. Oh, you had a surgery too? I'm glad that you're still alive. Wait, were you here before? Because I think there was somebody. I had a viewer who was who had said something like that before, that they were going in for surgery. Was that you? You're not super old. There's people who are in their 60s who are just getting started with their life. There's a lot of misconceptions people have. Like, so many people have like all these misconceptions. Oh, you have been here before, back in August. But you're not the surgery person. There's another person who was getting a surgery. Yeah, you came here during a chess stream. You've been following me since September 23rd, 2020. I'm sorry, I'm gonna expose you. I have your history. Oh, yeah, I'm streaming on chess.com now. Either way, to me, the important part is that I'm playing chess. I don't care what website I'm using. I like using chess.com nowadays. I think they're a very good website. I think it really helps my chess. I've improved a lot since I started using chess.com again. I canceled my Final Fantasy XI subscription and I replaced it with chess.com. And that gives me a lot more motivation because now I'm not motivated to go play a video game. I'm motivated to study chess. Do you see, like, you know, it kind of gives you motivation when you're paying for a premium service. The app is really enjoyable to use, which is a huge part of it. And there's always stronger players too because, you know, there's like a lot more people on chess.com, so there's a bigger pool of players to choose from. So you're gonna have like I think all in all, chess.com is gonna give you the best experience. Now there are other websites, but I don't really want to talk about that. I am a chess.com community streamer. So, you know, I don't want to like advertise other chess websites. I'm not partnered or anything, but you know, maybe one day. I want to be on their good side. I think, you know, as far as like content that I do on stream during chess.com streams, I don't think I've done anything so bad that I would like, you know, be on like chess.com's like naughty list. You know, I do talk about like, I think it's time to switch over to playing some games. I've been I've been doing enough puzzles, I think, and it froze. So I think it glitched out a little bit. So I'm gonna. That's a good indicator to switch. So if you want to play, just send me a challenge. But most likely, I guess you didn't want to play. So I could just do. Let's see, there is a 5-5 Blitz Arena going on for premium. Let me join that one. There's 18 players. You're from Morocco? They should make a version of, they should make a show on Nickelodeon called Morocco's Modern Life. Yeah, well, I'm a small streamer too, Ryujin. What, you think I'm like Botez? You think I'm GM Hikaru? Come on. Come on. Yeah, I mean, if you're drinking, you don't want to be like, you know, playing chess while you're drunk, you know, or drinking, maybe not necessarily drunk. You know, like, you know, that's up to you. You know, I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that you enjoy the vibes. I kind of like to create like kind of an atmosphere, like we're in like a cafe, and we do have, and you know, and you're in the right place because we also serve wine and beer. You know, we're that kind of place. That's the kind of place I like to kind of create. Like, we're just a chill lounge. You never saw Rocco's Modern Life? Oh my god. That was like a part of... Honestly, I didn't have Nickelodeon growing up, but like I remember like that was kind of part of my childhood. Oh, well, you know, I'm not like a huge fan of drinking, but you know, every now and then is not the end of the world. You know, there was an issue. Like, I also don't want to drink because, like, you know, I have a thing against like drinking and alcoholics. My dad's an alcoholic, but he quit drinking. He's sober right now. And he's helping me through this surgery, and I'm really glad that he was able to do that for me, and well, for himself mainly. Well, good night, Jibu. Oh, you're just doing the sleepy emote. Oh, the chill lounge, yeah. We're a chill lounge. That's that, you know, we're like, you know, pull up a chair And, you know, just enjoy your stay, you know, hang out on the couch, whatever. You know, that's kind of the vibe I like to do. You know, sometimes, you know, it doesn't mean it's always like, you know, just chill and boring. Like there are like some, you know, some really heated discussions sometimes. Just like, you know, like it's like a place for like people to go and just like kind of, you know, have, you know, like it's like, you know, like that place that's like college students go to where like they have coffee and like, you know, they also like discuss like, you know, like sometimes they, you know, discuss like some philosophical stuff and, or, you know, like some 3 a.m. combos. Sometimes like political stuff even. But not necessarily like, you know, like in this kind of way that like people might associate with that. I don't know. I generally just try to give a welcoming kind of environment, the best I can, because I think it's really important to be able to just have a place to relax and not worry. Oh God, I lost a piece. Definitely not relaxing to lose at chess. You're abscessed? You mean you're obsessed? An abscess is like something that like it's like something on your body, like a not like a pimple, but it's like worse than a pimple, and it has like all this pus inside of it. Oh no, now I lose the bishop. Yikes! I just screwed this up entirely. Down a whole rook. Well, it's okay, you know, it's like, I'm not perfect at language either, but, you know, I actually, English is like a really strong, I'm a writer. And I'm not just a writer who says they're a writer, I'm like an actual writer. I don't just say I'm a writer. I'm not one of those, like, you know, writer TikTok or whatever that, like, you know, this aesthetic of being a writer. Like, I actually write a lot. You know, I'm not like published. I mean, I am published, but like internet published. That's different. But I'm technically published. I write about, well, I write a lot of my journal, but I also write like fiction. I write articles. I'm not very successful at it. I have a lot more work to do. But I do write a lot. I want to establish a more sustainable writing habit. So I'm mostly just journaling. And also I started even saying, you know what? I could even just write a little bit about my novel. Like about my characters, or about, you know, like writing about the story, about like what I want to accomplish, like why I'm writing the story, like what am I trying to say, like what's the purpose for writing it. Obviously it's to entertain, but there's other ways to entertain besides just being like, you know, sensational. I do think that it could be interesting, like kind of like a comic book style, but you know, it's kind of like it's basically like kind of like a comic book style kind of fantasy setting, but it's like kind of sci-fi, but not really. It's being developed right now. I developed the characters, but I also, the plot is in a lot of workshop right now. Right now, I don't even know exactly what the storyline is. But I've been developing a sense of the characters, and I have a very strong sense of how the characters are, and I just need to kind of like work through like a bunch of iterations of like, you know, just testing the waters and just trial and error of like writing a whole bunch of different scenes. And just trying things out and seeing what works, and that's an iterative process. It's very, very, very boring. It's entertaining to me as a writer, and it improves it just has to be done. It's just how you write. Like, you have to just try it out. You don't write just by sitting around and waiting. You write by writing. But you know, I do have like an outline of the general. I wrote the ending. I have a general idea of what the story's about, but I have a lot of stuff that need to be workshopped. I mean, that's just normal. That's the drafting process. It needs to be respected. A lot of people think that they can just write a novel. They don't have to edit it. Like, you know, writing is actually the easy part. The hardest part is going through the iterations. Ugh. Well, let's go over this game and see where I went wrong. I went wrong very early. There's over 1 billion games a month. Okay, it's the Queen's Gambit declined. I gave up a pawn here. So, I think just trading? Oh, I could also just take here. That's the best move. Yeah, I lost a lot of tempo here. I had opportunity to win a rook. Check. Oh, yeah, check. And if you go here, it's like checkmate. No, basically, it's like... Yeah, this wins a rook. End up losing a knight. Oh yeah, and then it forks. Oh, well, thanks for adding me as a friend on chess.com. Do I have to just kind of counter with the bishop? Just to trade off the knight. What is it? Okay, oh yeah. That's another way to challenge the bishop. Because if I move with the queen, you can just defend the bishop. Oh no, then you just take the knight. Take the bishop. I don't know. Then from here it's pretty downhill. And the game is over. I played like a 600. Ugh. That's what I get for playing on stream. Yeah, I was bjorked. My favorite opening, the one that lets me win. I like playing e4 as white. Against e4 as black, I've been playing French defense lately. I would normally play Sicilian, c5. I'll normally play c5 against e4. Up against e4. Against d4, I usually play Indian defenses with knight f6 reply and see where it goes. But lately I've been playing the queen's pawn game, so I play d5 after d4 to see if to see where my opponent goes, whether they go into a London or whether they go into like a queen's gambit. And then I do Queen's Gambit declined with I was doing e6, which is the classic way, but I've been playing c6. I think I'll play c6 instead. So, you know, lately I've been playing French with e6 replied to e4. Against c4, I'll just play e5. I don't want to play the symmetrical variation. And against knight f3, I'll play d5. That's the ready gambit, or the reti, or whatever. And other moves, I'll just go like you know, other moves, like I basically just try to go for central pawns. Or if there's like a wing opening, I'll do the opposite one. After, I mean, I'll take the opposite side. Like I'll start with the center one that's towards that. So like if you play something like f4, like I'll play d5. And then, you know, you play the knight to f3, and then I'll play c5. Because then I'll take the queenside space. That's generally how I like to play. Let's get the bishop out, and then I can play c6. Against e4, you play c6. You're not necessarily playing the Caro-Kann if you play c6. It might transpose to something else. See, opening is like a specific sequence of moves. So generally, the way I think is I like to think of like a family of openings. So if you play e4, that's a family of king's pawn openings. And there's replies that you can do, but it depends on what your opponent plays before you can decide what opening it is. And if you're not like already like really well booked up, it's really hard to actually play a specific opening. But what you can do is you can play the first couple of moves, and if you know like which one you are, until you're out of book. But generally, I only think about it as like, what is the family of opening I'm playing? Like against e4, that's the king pawn opening. So that's the king pawn family of openings. So I'll play like e6. My usual response to e4 is c5, which is the Sicilian family of openings. And then there's a whole bunch of different variations. So it's like you kind of have to like treat it as like a more general thing, unless you have very specific, detailed opening knowledge. In which case, you're kind of, you know, you're really booked up and you're at an advantage. But most people are not that booked up, especially if they're like really low rated. If you're still an improving player, you're very unlikely to be booked up. It takes a lot more understanding of the fundamentals of the game before you can truly understand opening theory. And I understand that. I understand that I don't understand. Like, I know enough that I don't know. Like, I know that I don't know. Like, that's a good place to be, I think, because then you're aware. Because when you're aware of things, you're able to actually work on them. When you're not aware of things, you don't really know what to pinpoint. You don't know where your weak spots are. You're kind of in the dark. So I basically just try to not blunder the best I can, which obviously if I'm playing on stream, especially if I'm playing like blitz games, this is a 5-minute with 5-second increments, so it's a little bit less likely. I have a little bit less of an excuse if I do blunder. So, you know, there's that. But because I'm streaming, I'm a lot more distracted, so that is a valid reason why I might play worse. And it's something you have to keep into account. That if you're streaming, you're sacrificing your ability. You're sacrificing your strength. Because you're not able to focus as much as if you weren't streaming. Which is why I generally only play rapid off stream. If it's unrated games against my viewers, that doesn't really matter to me. I'll play whatever time control you want, within reason, for a stream. Unless it's by agreement and it's scheduled ahead of time, then we could play like a 2-hour game. But that would be only somebody that I would know wouldn't troll me, because people sometimes will like kind of like just let the time run out, and then I wasted like 2 hours of my life because the person didn't even make a move. They just made enough moves to not abort the game, and then like the whole game, it was like a huge waste of time. Everybody plays better off stream. But there are reasons if you stream, you practice your ability to be able to think while you're distracted, which is also very valuable. So that's something to think about. That's kind of min-maxing though. It's not too important for the vast majority of people. Definitely not for some. Definitely not. I mean, obviously, because like streaming is kind of a part of my workflow. So, you know, as far as like personal development, I do know that it does sacrifice my chess. So it's definitely it's really bad for my chess to stream. Although I do try my best to not make it hurt my chess. It's just kind of like it's not as efficient as it could be, which I think is better than if it hurt my chess. Because what I do is I review all my games afterwards. I used to not do that. But if you review all your games afterwards, then it doesn't matter if you blundered because you're solving, I mean, it doesn't solve your ability to solve during a game, but if you're at least looking at the games afterwards, then at least you're like kind of looking at like how you could have played better. So at least I'm not hurting my chess. If I was just playing games and losing really badly and not looking at them, that would be actually hurting my chess, and I wouldn't want to do that. Obviously, sometimes that is like what mindset, that is what mood you're in. Sometimes. Like sometimes that's the mood, that's the vibe. Or you just kind of want to play a whole bunch of bullet games just for fun. Sometimes that's the vibe. You're a streamer first and a chess player and an amateur chess player. I mean, obviously, I'm an amateur both. Yeah, you're a streamer? Oh, you got some cosmic vibes here. You're a psycho that you can't be afraid of? Nice, you got some good vibes. Pretty cool. Cocaine to match? I don't think you need to do that. I think bullet requires like to be relaxed more than anything. People say like, oh, you need to be like super hyper or whatever to play bullet. Bullet requires absolute focus, absolute calm. You need to be like completely calm while you're playing bullet, because once you start getting emotional and worked up, that's when you tilt. Like bullet requires like absolute focus. It's crazy. I have to go here. Lose the bishop. Oh, you know, like, oh god, I lost the bishop. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own stuff they have to work through, and you know, I wish you the best on that. I can't really give you any advice. I'm autistic, which kind of has a couple things that overlap, but everybody's different. Everybody has their own challenges, and I can't really know what'll work best for other people. So I hope that you can find a balance that works out for you. Oh God, I just gave up a. This is why I have mental health issues. Oh, you want to do music stuff? I'm a musician. I have not really worked on music for several years. I've done a couple of music stuff on stream, but it was always really out of shape, out of practice. Really not at my potential. Not where I am when I'm fully into music. There's a lot of stuff that I have not really. There's a lot of music stuff that I've neglected over these past couple years, but like, to be fair to myself, I've had to work on some other areas of my life, and so instead of music, I put that aside and I put it on the back burner. I haven't really been practicing my instruments, but I have been improving my life. So I guess it's a good. It's not perfect, obviously, but sometimes you have to trade a piece in order to, you know, take care of your position. Yeah, I play like everything, but like I play in college I played every single instrument growing up, basically. Growing up I played like trumpet, I was in choir, I did percussion, I did trombone, I did French horn, I played guitar. But later on, when I went to college again, around when I was like 26, I started learning woodwinds. So I started learning clarinet, and I got a tenor sax after I learned the basics of clarinet, and I worked on that in college, and I got to college level within like a semester or so, I worked really hard at it for like 3 years, and then I burned out of college, and then that was in 2018 when I left, when I dropped out, and I'm going back to college in the summer, but for like, I want to start doing like MBA kind of stuff, start going towards a business degree of some sort, and a business certificate program. MBA, from what I understand, it takes about a year. I almost finished my associate's degrees for music, so I'm going to finish those up in the fall next year. Yeah, wind instruments are hard to play, but any instrument is hard to play. They all have their own challenges. Brass instruments have their own challenges. There is no such thing as an easy instrument. The kazoo requires expertise. You know, it all goes down to music is not about the instrument. Music is about your inner voice, your musical voice, your ability to express yourself musically. So if you know, usually singing is where you want to start. Like if you really want to focus on music, you need to, you know, you kind of need to focus on singing first. You need to be able to like sing something before you can play it, especially if you want to memorize it. If you can't sing it, you can't play it. Not to the extent that you will be able to have it at the level that you probably want it to be. Your singing voice is always going to be the most one-to-one representation as possible of your inner musical ability. You don't have to be like a virtuoso. You don't have to be like an actual vocalist, but you need to at least understand how to sing and have a musical ear. Hi, hi. Ah, what have I done? Hi, Mumal al-Hashemi. Hope you're doing good. We're just playing some chess. You know, just chatting about life. That's kind of generally what we do around here. Muhamuil. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Muhamuil. Al-Hashamu. Piano is... every instrument is easy to learn. Every instrument is difficult to master. Like, this whole, like... there's, like, a whole, like, meme here. Al-Hasmir. Mohammed. I can't read it. I was just reading it out loud as with the phonetic pronunciation. I did study Arabic, you know, Arabic writing for a little bit, but not really. I'm not like fluent at all. I don't understand the language at all. Except maybe like very minor, but and also Korean. Apparently Korean and Arabic are very close. From what I understand, like it's actually apparently a very close language to each other. But I can read Hangul, but I don't understand Korean, which is funny because it's like a lot of it. I studied Japanese as a second language, and I studied Mandarin as like a fourth language, Spanish my third language. But I cannot for the life of me ever start to even make any progress on Korean. And a lot of that is just because I haven't really tried. So that's actually my fault. But I don't really intend to... I mean, it takes a lot of time and devotion to become fluent in a language, and I don't really feel like that's a good use of my time at the moment. You have to be able to make sacrifices in your life in order to get the things you want. And the things I want are the things that I need. And so in order to get the things I need, I need to be able to, you know, make those kind of sacrifices of not working on a billion things at once. It's an Afro-Asiatic language related more to Hebrew. Well, of course. But from what I understand, like, there was like a study about it. Like, Korean apparently has like a lot of things in parallel. I mean, I don't really know, so that's just what I read about. It is very... Korean is obviously more related to... they were occupied by China, so it's very, very influenced by Chinese languages like Mandarin, but and Japanese as well. They used the Chinese writing system at the very beginning, but then there was a person who engineered the written language of Hangul. Maybe it was the writing system that somebody was talking about. That's like, apparently it's easier for Koreans to Korean people who are fluent in Korean to learn Arabic than other speakers. I don't know about the accuracy of that statement, but that's what I've heard. I'm just saying what I've heard. So, you know, don't like cancel me or anything like that. I'm just saying what I heard.
It's a trip. It's got a funky beat.
Oh no! Okay, here. What have I done? I definitely miscalculated that. Yeah, languages are amazing because it's at the root of all language is human expression, and it's always important to remember that first and foremost, that a language exists as a means to an end. And that doesn't mean that you can't appreciate it for its artistic, I mean, that's part of language, is the artistic expression. Every single language has their own unique artistic evolution of people who have contributed to the language as a writer, as an artist. And so, or as a, as just as the part, there's so many different ways to contribute to language, like as commentary, as art, as, you know, there's just so many different ways, and every single language has their own unique evolution, because it's different people from different cultures, from different parts of the world. And yeah, more and more the world is kind of becoming homogenous in the internet age. But there's still a lot of variation in culture, and it's just like different languages have evolved based on different cultural differences. And so it's like, but in the end of the day, it's important to remember that like the languages itself is like a means to an end. That the reason why why the language exists was because somebody had something to say, to communicate. And so sometimes people get a little bit kind of lost in the sauce. They like study, and which is fine. They're like, you know, they're interested in like the academic interest of like a language. That's fine, but like sometimes people think that like if you don't like study the most advanced forms of linguistics, that somehow you're like not a language learner. It's like, no, you don't need to be like a linguist to be fluent in a language. In fact, like a freaking 5-year-old is fluent in a language. You know, you don't have to like be a master linguist. Some people are a little bit pretentious. They study a language to the point. Oop, there we go. They study a language to the point of being like a linguist, which is a completely different discipline. Nice. I pulled that game out of my ass. Yeah, communication is always the goal, but there's so many different variations of communication, though. So it's not like it's limited. In fact, it's the opposite of limited. There's so many ways to utilize language. Oh, just go back all the way to the starting square? I guess I just have to change my strategy because of the double knight movement. Yeah, there's a fork here. No, that's no good. Take the pawn though. Wait, there is something I missed here. Ah. Yeah, this was a... Yeah, there was a fork here. I allowed the opponent to eventually win a knight. You missed a chance to punish your opponent's error. There's a pawn under attack. Oh, there's another, obviously. Oh, pawn. Okay, just bringing back the knight. That also gets the knight back away from a bunch of attacks that could put, you know, trades. That would put, like, white at a little bit of an imbalance. Threaten checkmate. Also allowed tempo by, you know, the fork. I can threaten checkmate here. And then I believe you defend. Oh, I accepted your friend request. Don't go for the pin if you don't move the E3 pawn. I'm losing a knight. You missed an opportunity to win a knight by eventually adding pressure to a pin piece. Same idea. Okay, so yeah, there was a huge blunder here. Obviously, losing a rook. All you had to do is just kind of oop, not there. Oops. I think even just attacking the knight. Best move is just aligning the rooks, getting the open files. And then obviously I found the best move, winning a rook. All right. I've been going almost 3 hours. I think it's about time. Yeah, I think today was a pretty good stream. I really enjoyed the vibes. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Today's Saturday. I have, if you know Gotham Chess, Gotham Chess recently published a book called How to Win at Chess. I ordered the hardcover. I'm a fangirl, okay? I like to order stuff like that. It should be here soon. It's delivered. I actually am gonna get it. I could actually do an unboxing right now. It's, you know, let me go get that. Just a second. Kinda. Then we can All right, so I gotta be careful not to show my address or anything, so I'm gonna get my Makita out. And here we have unboxing of Gotham Chess book. Levi Rosman of chess.com, YouTube channel, youtube.com/Gotham Chess. And this is the unboxing of his very first chess book. I believe it's his first. Sorry if it's not. I think it is. I saw your tweet. Levi, I haven't seen all your content. I do apologize. I don't particularly watch a lot of Twitch. I am around though, and I have experienced a lot of personal fulfillment early on a couple of years ago. You're one of the first chess streamers that I watched. You and Botez and Hikaru and a bunch of other streamers. I would be here all day if I listed every single chess.com streamer and just chess category streamer in general. But this looks like a really good book. Nice to have a nice hard cover with graphic, color graphics. This is going to be a really good read. I can already tell. And this is just having it already is like a huge addition to my library. I have the main books that I use in my library. Jeremy Silman, who recently passed away, and I feel like if there is a successor for chess, for educational content right now in the digital age, the successor to Jeremy Silman, I would say it's Levi Rosman. Your YouTube videos are top-notch, very helpful, and just the way you say things, you have a nice sense of humor, and you do a lot for the chess community. So thanks for your book, and I hope that your career goes places that you could never imagine. All right, I'm gonna post that on YouTube and Twitter for him. I'm gonna tweet at him with that. I think it's been a pretty good stream today, and I hope I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna go look through that book when I'm off stream. I don't know. I really like. Chess books are kind of like you have to actually work through them, and you can't work through them really fast. You have to kind of gradually work through them. Anyway, I hope you all had a good day. Bye bye.